All right, traders, welcome to today's recap. This is Christian from Hertz Tribeca Trade Group, and this is Monday, June 10th market recap. Risk disclaimer in front of you. Everything that we're going through in this video is for information purpose only, not giving out any advice or recommendations. Please read the full risk disclaimer right there. Well, very nice day. I would say for the markets, there was this little bit of a distraction, I think, with the Apple event, which I thought it was. I was waiting to hear if they were going to come out with anything in specific about AI, but I don't think you really heard anything that was really crucial in terms of that. Some tools and so forth to deal with, but I didn't think there was anything groundbreaking. That said, there was a decent amount of setups that came, even though, when we look at the averages today, SPY was up just about 30 basis points. The Qs ended up outperforming. They kind of grinded higher for a good portion of the day, then got a little bit whippy around that 1 o'clock Apple event. Small caps, look at the green here. They really did well since the open. They started like they have been doing, which is down, 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 and they kind of came back a little bit. So I don't know if you're going to get a continued move out of the small caps, but I think for the day, it's nice to see them come back. Where did they come back? Right after this virgin point of control to the downside was taken out in small caps. And notice that they're coming into some resistance right into here. I think that's the bottom of the value area for the week. Or excuse me, for the month. So, there was a breakdown, but did find some demand where there was, previously a lot of volume, which is all the way back in here. We'll just kind of continue look at this daily chart just for a quick second, and then we'll move on to the rest of the market. But here's what I'm referring to. Some overhead resistance will be at 202.57. While we're at it, let's go ahead and we'll look at the S&P futures, which from my standpoint, you've heard me mention this level a couple times if you read my notes or intraday notes. But basically we had this nice breakout on Wednesday and a little bit of backing and filling, choppy price action. Not Friday's price action was a bit tricky, but we held where we needed to, and that's 53.48. So we'll see if if we can get through the rest of the week with the price above 53.48. There's going to be a lot of events that we're going to have this week. I'll talk about them in just a second, but I want to talk about a few other concepts first, and then we'll come back to this week's events. But the Qs, really nice staying above the value area too. I thought would be reasonable to get a check back to the top of value. Who knows? We may still get that. And it's just something to kind of have in your scenario analysis, to kind of note that even if the market sells off a little bit, there should be some support there at 459.70. All right. So let's quickly just what the indices look like. Overall, just a lot of good looking moves today in different groups. I'll begin to kind of go over some of those groups here. The solar, first of all, so energy, both traditional. You can see OIH was up 2.8% for the day. So was solar. So more clean energy names too. And you have solar and the clean energy ETF. They advanced the most out of any group that I've got on my watch list anyway. Solar rallied 3.9% from the open. So really a nice trending day for that group. Energy, as I mentioned, some of them kind of trailed off a little bit, but XOP was still up 2.1%. So overall, not bad. And then also, this little group called the Semiconductors, also broke out to new highs. So let's look at a couple of these groups really quickly. I'll try to keep tonight's video short, but we'll see how it goes. So here's solar. I got shaken out of a trade last week. I had entered solar in here, and on the break, I said a couple times in videos that I was like, hey, as long as it stays above the 200-day moving average, I think it's a good looking chart. But on Friday it broke, so I had no choice to kind of follow what my stop price was, and nice move back. Let's see if it could stay above 47.09. And then what I think is best in breed in this group is First Solar. Had a really nice day today. Didn't close exactly on the highs, but is starting to kind of get away from this consolidation. And of course, there's a virgin point of control there, which a lot of times we'll see some consolidation there. Also note what I was watching, and I entered this trade in the beginning of the day because I thought I would have an opportunity to take a target at that top of value, which was right at 278.52. So we did break through that. So now we just kind of have to take out these previous highs. So I'm in a trade in First Solar and looking for it to continue through to break the trend. If it doesn't, well, at least I took a target for the day. But Solar, very, very constructive and one of the best performing groups for the day. The nat gas groups, nat gas stocks acted pretty well. I went long. Oops, that's the wrong stock. Sorry. It's CNX. CNX, I noticed this name like a couple weeks ago. So it's nice to kind of like, either take mental notes or actual physical notes. I remember this stock was breaking out like this, and it did make a new 52-week high when the rest of the group wasn't. So I just noticed the relative strength. And when nat gas started to rally today, um, energy oil had a real nice day today too. I just thought to kind of look at this one, and I'm ultimately aiming for this version point of control. I just wanted to bring up this crude chart. This is something that I go through every morning for Tribeca Trade Group members, right? I go through all the commodities, but notice where this thing has bounced. I believe there was a Virgin point of control takeout, but maybe it's not on the screen. But notice that we're coming right into some resistance. So nice, strong day for crude, but you're going to have some resistance up there, right? And that's right around this 78.21 level. All right. So that was another group. And then let's talk about the semiconductors. Really nice performance again. A little bit of just inside moves there, and just barely broke out to above those highs from last week. And notice how the same thing, very similar look to what I just went over with the Qs, where price broke the June value area, and then you had a little bit of digestion after that, right into the 5 period moving average and into the top of value, and there's your break higher, and lots of good looking names in this group. Of course, the big guy Nvidia had its split. I don't know what that print is. I would assume that's an error or something, but it held where it needed to. It started to kind of sell off in the beginning of the day, but as long as it stays above the 5 period moving average, I'll be in this name. Of course, I've taken some targets along the way, but that was one of my best trades for last week. And right in here, I think is where I got back into the name. So nice, impressive there. If you go through some of these names, one name that I've been talking about is this CAMT, smaller name, but breaking out to new highs today. And I mentioned when I put my uh, trade ideas channel together, or excuse me, trade ideas for the weekend. If we go to CAMT and what I wrote about it, uh, and I'll go through a couple of these other charts, but let's see if I can find it really quickly. My comment on this stock was, yeah, kept on watch this. I said it looks great here. Alert set to 110, and I did add this to the TTG trend portfolio on Friday. Strong stock, and continues to make new highs. A couple other names that so Lam Research had a big day today. Remember they announced, I think it was a $10 billion stock buyback plan. If I'm wrong, please don't get mad at me. But a very large stock buyback plan a couple weeks back. This day moved out to new highs today. So very impressive. I believe that's new all-time closing highs. And again, look at the nice little just consolidation, and now maybe ready for that next leg after the 50-day moving average went a bit flat on it. Another name too, Texas Instruments. So a lot of call positioning. I'll have to look at the open interest, but July, it was July and September, saw calls in this one. Remember that this was a really big surprise last earnings, and it gapped all the way up to here, broke out through, climbed all the way up to, I guess, around 204, and is now trading back to the 195 area. So that doesn't look bad either. And again, just seeing more nice looking setups in this group. It is for now the leadership group, and ADI was a name I mentioned last week too. That looks good. Qualcomm, I did some positioning in Qualcomm last week, right? And this one had a nice held where it needed to. Still has some more work to do, but held where it needed to, which is the top of the value area. Taiwan Semiconductor, another strong name in here, right? So very good looking. Retail, the strong names in retail, the names that had good earnings are continuing to act really well. Here's Abercrombie, right? This is a name that we went over along with a couple other names too. I mentioned watch GPS for a turn here. So I would keep an eye on this one. Nice looking bullish engulfing candle. This needs to take back the 5-day moving average, but it's stalled out here at this overhead supply, virgin point of control at 30, and now trading down about $5 from there. Also, another one to watch, I think, is Dick's Sporting Goods. That's on my list, definitely on my list to watch for tomorrow. Nice digest, big gap up, and this is just textbook, right, for strong earnings names, right? Wait until they kind of pull back a little bit. Hopefully the red bars are on low volume, which this one is, and a couple strong names, strong green bars, right? The restaurant group, right? Another, so again, there's these pockets of strength, even though the overall market, which I'll get to in just a second, is still not that great in terms of like the overall breadth that's going on. But Kava also found support right at the top of the value area. DPZ, I got into this trade last week and kind of hung in there because the pullback here was on low volume, right? And nice green candle breaking back out here. So pizza, right? And so yeah, I went over this in one of the end of day videos last week, and it kind of just gave a little bit of that digestion. But I like this move today. Other names on our watch list because I feel like I could go through a lot of names. This is how I kind of put together my watch list for the week. I always start with the previous names that are on the watch list. I go through all those charts, and then I begin to kind of look, look for new opportunities. And yeah, Abercrombie was one of those names. NTAP also, this name has not really pulled back. I was looking at NTAP as well as NetTap as well as Pure Storage. I kind of like NetTap a little bit better, even though it's a little bit more extended. I mean, this name, there hasn't really been any selling in this name, and it has been overbought. And the other one has been really nice too is Pure Storage. Pure Storage is a bit more expensive on a valuation standpoint. All right, and then just gonna go through just a couple other concepts with you. But yeah, I mean, a lot of good looking names. There's a CNX up nicely from the open. So I would just be aware. So I was going to go through breadth first. That was the one thing I was going to do. So again, when you look at the 4-week new highs versus new lows, this is just the S&P. I go over this just about every trading day in our midday note, right? I put this out and I sort it by sectors. But bottom line is you only had 8% of the S&P, which made a new high today. Only 8% made a new high in the index, and 17% of the index actually touched new lows for the day. So this needs to change, and I don't know if we're going to run into these events that we have this week, which is the CPI report, the Fed meeting, but ultimately something has to give here. I think either the new lows really need to expand, right? Or, we might get some downside price action because overall, there's not a lot of there's not a huge amount of names that are breaking out. And that's just the numbers, right? And if you want to look, so again, like the way that I kind of approach today is a lot of trades worked really nice, which is a great thing. So you could put some of that money and just put it in your pocket, and then you could feel a little bit more comfortable, going into the Fed meeting on Wednesday as well as the CPI report and the PPI report. And don't forget, we had one bond auction today. We're going to get two more throughout the week too. So it is a very data intensive week. And I wanted to show you too, just with the overall, I talk a lot about 4-week new highs versus new lows because they're newer, right? And you can kind of, if I can get signals, you know, on a smaller time frame, I'm all about that because I trade both long term and I trade a little bit of short term as well. But here's the 4 week new highs versus new lows. So this is a little bit better, right? At least the new highs, and you can see you've got Broadcom, which made a new high today, Lam Research, which we went over clack, Eli Lilly, which continues to break higher, and that is a member of the TTG trend portfolio. But HCA, which was a name that was on our watch list this weekend, and I put that name on too. But the number of names is just, obviously a lower quantity. So it's good to see that this column is higher than this column, but overall it's just not a lot of names. Look at this headline that just hit the tape. Apple, or excuse me, Musk to ban Apple devices if they integrate open open AI. That's interesting. All right, so where can you find out about some of our trade ideas that we put out in our watch list? You can go to tribecatradegroup.com, and to be a member, you can get half off your first month. Just use TTG new for new members. Also, you could subscribe to our Substack, which is deeply discounted, and you can get every trade that I get into for a swing trade. I'm going to provide you with the chart and a little bit of the thinking behind the idea. And then I'm also doing things like putting out, in addition to what our watch list is for the weekend, I put 5 names that I'm really watching as we go into the week. Guys, have a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow.